Hi, welcome to my channel. I wanted to show you some tricks in Lightroom on the iPad that you might not otherwise know. And so I recently took a trip to Germany with my wife, and we saw some castles. And this is we've got a couple of castle pics here. So what I want to do is clean these up. This is just raw right out of my camera. I use the Canon 6D, and so when you look at this picture, the very first thing that I like to do is I like to hit auto, because that gives you some place to start. I'm not going to end there, but hitting the auto button on the edit it does a pretty good job. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the vibrance, I'm going to knock that down to 0 or close to it, then pull the saturation all the way down. It's a black and white photo at this point now. So what I want to try to do is get a very good black and white photo. If I can get the look of it and the feel of it to look great with black and white, then when we add color back, it's going to be even better. So if you did the auto, what happens is you'll notice some of the light sliders have changed. We'll leave those for now. I'm going to go right to effects. So what I like to do is I add a little bit of a vignette, and then I dehaze a little bit to try to pull the clouds out and to get a little bit better landscape picture there. I also like to increase the texture just a bit. Some people don't like grain, but I like a little bit more texture. And to compensate for that, I pull the clarity down. So that actually gives it like a softer effect with more clarity. It gives it a real nice look. I like that. So then also I'll take the light and the light tab here, and I'll take the contrast and start pulling it up as much as I can. So you'll notice the darkers get darker, the light areas get lighter. And when you start getting into this level, you might want to pull up the histogram. So go to the top right, the little 3 dots, go to View Options, and then there's a Show Hide Histogram, and that's all you need to do, and then click anywhere on the picture. And now you've got a histogram up in the top left. What you'll notice on the histogram is, say for instance you pull the black areas to black, and you'll notice on the left-hand side of that histogram it starts to spike up. You don't want to see spikes on either end because you're starting to lose data. You don't really want to do that. So you want to just make sure that your black areas aren't that black. You can also look at the photograph, and you want black areas to be black, but yet you want to still see details. So you might have to pull the shadows up a little bit in order to get those black levels up, especially in that hillside. Then the whites, you'll start pulling them down a little bit and seeing where it looks good. You want to look at the histogram just to make sure you're not blowing anything out, because if you go really tight with things, you'll see that the histogram goes nuts. So you want to really just kind of check the histogram every once in a while, but look at the picture and try to get a good contrast between the light areas and the dark areas. And once you have it all nice looking, then you can take the color, pull the saturation back up, and now you've got a nice picture with full color, and it was a good black and white picture, so therefore it's going to be a good color picture too. Now we got to do a couple of things, like you'll notice up in this area up here, we've got a couple of little dust bunnies that I didn't happen to clean my lens as good as I should have, so we'll try to take those and we'll knock those out. And now that we've cleaned a few of those up, there might be a few more here. I'll have to look around. We can also then take and make sure that we have a straight picture, because my camera was leaning a little bit. I was holding it with one hand. So what I like to do is I use a 35mm lens, which tends to distort the sides. So I take the middle section right here, and I want to make sure the middle section is straight. And then it's okay if the side areas are a little bit bent in, because that's just the effect of the lens. And once you do that, you can also change the aspect ratio if you want to like a 16:9 aspect ratio. I kind of like the 3:2, so it seemed to give a lot more of the picture. And then I do try to line up things on the thirds of the lines. So if you see the lines, they're like this particular post right here, I want that to line up on one of those third lines, like that or so, because then it will give me the proper, you don't want things like right in the middle per se, but the third lines look pretty good. And then just adjust the sizing of it so that it has all the stuff that you want in it. I also look at it top to bottom to make sure there's enough sky, but yet enough foliage on the bottom to make it look balanced, and that looks good right there. So we've completed one picture. All right. Hope you learned a little bit there, and have fun. See ya.